I have Andrew Japamesa. He is a lawyer, but also member of parliament for Second D. I hope that the last weekend he was in Second D. Were you? Not really.
No, I was not, but I went there on
okay. You went there on
Tuesday.
Okay.
Yeah, CDD organized
an event.
At a, engagement of MPs with their constituents. So we had a town hall meeting, if you like, on Tuesday. So I went there on Tuesday, and then I came back into Accra.
You see,
night. Of course, I go back tomorrow, Friday, for the weekend.
You see?
Yes.
Okay, you are loaded.
Not loaded, it's part of the job, and you need to get it done. Good morning.
Morning, sir. And Abraham Amaliba is also, he's ready for court actually this morning. Good morning.
Morning.
Usually when your party is not in power, they call it you are in the trenches. So he's in the trenches, but he's a practicing legal person. So
sure.
How are you?
Thanks for having me.
All right. You're still eyeing the seats. Is it Bolga
Central, yes.
You're still weighing your options?
We are weighing our options to see.
Don't worry. I wish you all the best in that. You're a fine man. Being an MP wouldn't have been bad at all. But we wish you all the best. Abraham Maliba is here. But we know there are some ongoing issues, topical among them. Let's start with SSNIT. There's a press conference put together initially, another one, and now we know that the board chairman, Dr. Kwame Adokufo, is being a Minister of Defense Interior. He knows his stuff. And following the presentation of an audit report by PricewaterhouseCoopers, he made the statement that they would want to follow through following the initial concerns they had made, for which subsequently they have forwarded those concerns to EOCO for investigation of some malfeasance or misapplication or misappropriation of funds as SSNIT. Let me start with you, Mr. Ejapamesa.
Good morning to our cherished viewers this morning, particularly those in my constituency, Second D. Yes, I mean, this has been a running story for a while. I mean, the issues regarding the huge expense over and above the budgeted amount that was allocated for this OBS system has been in the news at least since September of 2017. Of course, at the time, the revelations that came out, was mind-boggling. Everybody seemed to wonder how a project that had initially been budgeted for $34 million could end up at 72 million US dollars. So I guess that the investigation that was commissioned by the management and board of SSNIT for PricewaterhouseCoopers to do some assessment of what it is that had gone into the huge expense that SSNIT had to incur. What is not clear is whether EOCO did a parallel investigation as well, because from what we hear yesterday, they've actually been cautioned and charged. I'm yet to be told whether they have actually been arraigned before court. If they haven't, I'm sure that in the next either today or tomorrow, or in the coming days, we would see some arraignment before court and, formal pleas taking and prosecution taking place. Clearly, I mean, public service or public office holders, prior to their own appointments and during the course of their engagements, are aware that at a certain point in time, they would have to account for their stewardship, for the roles that they occupy, and the call that this is some witch hunting. As
it is not.
Where is the witch that is being hunted in this matter?
Well, you tell me.
Is it not the fact that
we seem to have a string of
that there was
issues.
A budget for a project of 34 million? Is it not a fact? Is it not a fact that indeed that ended up at 72 million? Is it not? Have they denied it? And so if investigations have been conducted and it has been established, at least until a final determination is made by a court of competent jurisdiction, due process requires that these people are arraigned before court and tried for the allegations that have been leveled against them.
So they'll go to
the onus on them is to raise a reasonable doubt in the mind of the trial of the fact. to determine that, look, they are not guilty of the offenses that have been charged against them. We are a country that believes in the rule of law, don't we? It is not like this is some kangaroo process that has been initiated. This is a formal process, formal investigations. People have been given an opportunity to be heard. And the Economic and Organized Crime Office has come to the determination that there is a prima facie case made against them, which requires them to answer. How does that amount to witch hunting? So we should let them go scot-free if they have infringed some rule and have cost this country this huge sums of money.
Alleged, I guess.
Absolutely, yes, and that's why it's going to court. So they have to go and answer. The state will have to prove its case beyond all reasonable doubt that indeed these offenses have been committed. I'm asking how that translates to witch hunting.
I see.
In any event, if you are not a witch, should you have cause for any worry when a hunter arrives to hunt for witches?
That's simplifying the issues, Anati.
How is that simplifying the issues?
Well, let's watch the story in detail, and then we'll come and have Abraham Maliba also come to have his initial response, and then we'll look at some of the detailed issues too.
The task handed PwC by SSNIT was to audit the activities of SSNIT starting from 2016 to March 31, 2017. It covered IT review, internal controls assessment, HR functions effectiveness, and an independent financial review. PwC found that the initial contract sum of $38 million for SSNIT's ICT strategic plan ballooned to $199 million. As at close of the audit, SSNIT had paid $147 million of the amount. On the controversial OBS system, PwC stated that the project team signed off certain key milestones even though the corresponding contractual requirements had not been deployed. It also established that payments had been approved for change orders which were already included in the contract. The auditors are therefore making a recommendation for SSNIT to pursue the vendors for possible refund of monies in some instances. Company Secretary of SSNIT, Gifty Anand, announced that some former officials had been indicted by EOCO as a result of their role in execution of the contract.
5 suspects were arrested, and they are Ernest Thompson, former Director General of SSNIT, Mrs. Juliet Hassana-Kramer, CEO, PBS, John Hagan-Mensah, former OBS Project Manager, Caleb Kweku Afaglu, and Thomas Samson Owusu. However, 4 of them have been cautioned. These include Ernest Thompson, Mrs. Juliet Hassana-Kramer, John Hagan-Mensah, and Caleb Kweku Afaglu. After investigations, the office preferred charges of willfully causing financial loss to the state.
SSNIT board chair Dr. Kwame Adukufu assured contributors SSNIT was prudently managing their money. He further stated that EOCO reports had been forwarded to the AG for action.
This document is from EOCO. We are not pushing anything under the carpet. We are working very seriously. If the figures you want, and in due course you have them. So don't think the SSNIT is conniving with anybody. No, EOCO has gone over, and the report we have from Pricewaterhouse is quite similar to the report we had from EOCO. So that side has been taken care of. What Pricewaterhouse is doing is trying to up the game so that management will be better, human resource management will be better, investment management will be, they are trying to help us manage the place better than before. But so far as criminal activity is concerned, EOCO has already dealt with that.
It's not clear when the Attorney General will commence work on this matter.
Oh, so Ernest Thompson and all the rest who will stand accused have their work cut out for them with their legal counsel in court, would you say?
Let me say good morning to your viewers. You know, news just coming in this morning says that Ghana has joined countries with high risk of debt distress.
Is it related to SSNIT?
You're not going to tell me how to structure my submission.
Right. Sir.
This country is really under immense pressure. Ghanaians are wailing What this government is trying to do is to divert attention and make it look like the NDC is worse off and make it look like NDC is bad. You remember when this matter broke last year? The initial allegation was that the automation that was championed by Ernest Thompson was not working at all. You remember? Completely, they say it was not working at all. These people, this your station, made further checks and found out that it rather improved the efficiency of SSNIT. They lost that battle. Now they've gone to look at contract variations. And I'm sure anybody who has done contract work before knows that there's what is called contract variations. And now says that that contract variation amounts to willful causing financial loss to the state. But you've said it right. These people will meet them in court. It is not to say that because they have been charged, the state that is alleging is right. They will meet in court. But you see, Pricewaterhouse, that's how they are called?
PricewaterhouseCoopers.
Coopers, good.
PwC.
Good. They were asked to do some work. Beginning from 2016 to now, is it 20 now?
17.
To 2017.
Early 2017.
Will you believe that Pricewaterhouse did not contact Ernest Thompson, did not speak to Ernest Thompson?
They didn't need to. They were doing an audit. They were not doing an investigation. EOCO, as an investigative body, I believe in my layman's mind, would have the need to contact Ernest Thompson.
So if you are auditing an institution, you don't talk to people.
For what?
You don't talk to the institution.
The numbers
you don't talk
and
to
the balance sheets and the P&L should speak for themselves.
You don't talk to those in charge of those figures, those who dealt with those figures. You don't.
Don't you think that accounting numbers are always on paper, not in the minds of people generally?
Oh, I have seen auditors come to my office. If they don't understand something, they call the accountant. I've seen that. They don't just talk to the papers alone. Now you are to audit an institution.
I get your point.
You are to audit an institution that was headed by somebody. Won't you at least bring him into the picture?
And Thompson told you that?
We converse. We have a platform. I can show you a platform message that says that since last year, October, Ernest Thompson was not contacted on this.
There's been no contact.
There's not been contact.
Is that untoward?
That's what I'm saying, that if you are looking for the truth of a matter, if you want to get to the bottom of the matter, you don't leave gray areas that questions can be raised. And what they have done, Ernest Thompson is asking, you've not contacted me since last year, October, and you've put out this information. What if I have some explanations to do? Has it been factored into whatever you are doing?
I believe accounting activities and work, as far as we're concerned, are just paper trails.
Look,
so if the paper trails are there, you don't need to contact the human being.
The Auditor General's report self is given back to the institutions to comment before they are factored in.
Well,
the
true.
Auditor General, let
it's
alone
not only
Pricewaterhouse.
that, many audit reports, or if not all audits.
So you are going around and coming back to my point that it was relevant.
I'm
to
asking
do that.
questions, sir. I'm not arguing.
So, if this is not witch hunting, if this is not political witch hunting, after you accuse the person of providing automation that was not working, you lost the argument, and then you set up a Pricewaterhouse Coopers to work on something, and you deliberately refuse to leave the man out of the equation. If this is not witch hunting, what else is it? And that's why I'm saying that more of this will come. You notice that it was the MPs.
Is it being preemptive?
You notice that it was the MPs.
No, let me help you. It started with Dr. Stephen Opuni.
Yes, I'm just saying that more will come. You notice that the MPs last week, they first gave out 21 names of former MPs and MPs and former government appointees.
As it was 25
exactly,
to 19.
Exactly.
Gone back.
Yes.
20.
Then you write letters back to them and say, no. We only need 3 of you, only 5 of you. You've damaged the reputation of those 15 or 17. Political witch hunting, if he doesn't know that, that is it. Now, they've thrown out this. They are really under immense pressure. They've not been able to manage this economy to the glory of God. So now
we're not discussing the economy, because I know I can ask some critical questions on the economy.
I am saying that you don't understand
because
my
if
submission.
you look at the Bank of Ghana reports, the fundamentals of the economy and what the indicators are have been very good.
I just told you that
over the last
four
quarters.
I just told you that Ghana has been added to the list.
We were added long ago. You took us there into a debt distress. Your government took us. Please.
The debt has been rising. Please, it's okay. Let's not start the economic argument. So now continue, sir.
You see, this intolerance.
Who is intolerating?
This intolerance, which is an epitome of the MPP from the president. When the president wants to address us, he will insult us. That why should we be questioning an agreement? It is in their DNA. You see, my submission is just this. They should stop engaging in acts that ordinary Ghanaians will see and say that, look, these are clear witch hunting. But Ernest Thompson has indicated that his lawyers will respond appropriately today. And for me, that's the way to go.
Now, it means that forthrightly, SSNIT, through its contact with the EOCO and the report subsequently of the two agencies, we have the private auditing firm, PricewaterhouseCoopers and EOCO, would have a case to perhaps put forth in court.
You see, if you engage in selectivity relative to what you want to hear and take the sweet part, that's the kind of conclusions that you draw.
Meaning what?
That Ernest Thompson was not contacted. Dr. Dokufuor was clear. Just the clip that you showed a short while ago, that they engaged Pricewaterhouse to do an operational audit so that management can be better advised as to how to conduct their operations going forward. And that issues relating to the criminal bit had been done by EOCO. So if Pricewaterhouse has been engaged to undertake operational audit, what is the need for them to contact Ernest Thompson?
Well,
for what?
Well, logically.
What logical?
Logically
what?
Audit reports are referred to the agency.
And Ernest Thompson is going to provide input into what the operational management of SSNIT going forward ought to be.
Former directors.
Please, Roland.
And managers
don't give us some credit.
Have been mentioned in a report that indicts them and indicts their integrity and personality. At least they need to be given a hearing.
Look, giving a hearing regarding what? What Pricewaterhouse did was not an investigation. Okay? It was operational audit that gives management information. And Dr. Dokufuor was clear. Now, you say that this is witch hunting because government is under pressure, and that some news coming in this morning has indicated Ghana has been added to the list of debt distressed countries. Well, Abraham, for information, Ghana became debt distressed under your government. And that's factual. What it is that the report that you referred to said was that we hadn't gotten out of that situation. And that even though debt to GDP ratio had dropped from 73.75 to 69.8, we were not out of the woods. That is what the report says. So don't create the impression that this government has taken Ghana into a debt distress situation.
Well,
that is false.
In quantum.
What, did you see the figures?
In quantum.
From 138 to 142?
In quantum, they've increased.
From 130 what to 142? Yes.
Sir, in quantum. In quantum, they've increased.
You see,
where we are
look,
because
you see, Roland.
Where we are because we started improving the fundamentals. But if the fundamentals were not right, would have way jumped overboard. And that's a concern for many of the commentators
what does
and the
it what does it speak to the competence of the managers of the economy?
Well, very well.
What does it speak to? So let's not create the impression that Ghana is getting worse. Indeed, yes, the debt figure has risen because, you see, Parliament approves a budget every year. That gives government, because we recognize that our revenue is not sufficient to meet our expenditure, a certain leverage or leeway to borrow, to fund the budget. That's the budget deficit. Okay? Now, you guys were doing in excess of 9% in 2016. That has dropped to 5.6. Huge improvement. So yes, the debt stock would have increased, but not at the rate that you guys were increasing our debt stock. That is the point. So let's not sit and create the impression that this government is struggling, is mismanaging the economy, and that to divert attention, they are witch hunting some individuals. I said earlier, if you are not a witch, why fear hunters?
Point made.
I sit here, I'm not a witch, I'm not afraid of any hunter. People have caused loss to the state. That is factual. There was basis for the contract amount. And the recommendations that Pricewaterhouse gave, Dr. Dokufo says that, look, this report is similar to the conclusions that EOCO reached. And it's an Thompson saying that EOCO didn't give him a hearing. In any event, when an investigation is conducted, is that conclusive of any guilt? You are sent to court and you have your day in court. So how does that amount to witch hunting? How? Please look, this is serious business. It's not a joke. And when people misconduct themselves in public office or an allegation is made against them, due process ought to be followed. And that's exactly what is happening. Mr. Thompson has not been jailed. He has not been condemned. He has been charged in accordance with the Criminal Offences Act of this country. He is entitled to a defense. So why do we do this to ourselves as a nation? So we should let people go because you think that because he is from a political fold, no action should be taken against him? Is that his contention?
Do you know some of the legal representatives of the accused?
No.
Or the intended accused?
No.
You want to read?
No.
You're making reference to?
Ghana Web. This is...
The story headline says what?
18th April 2018. Ghana joins. They didn't say Ghana joined. Teaching you English. Ghana joins. Countries with high risk of debt distress. World Bank report.
18.
I'm saying 18th April.
Oh, just this April.
These people.
2 days ago.
You don't know the lies of these people. The way you people believe these people. Everybody in that chain lies.
Which people believe who and who?
You media men, you believe them too much. This is just 18th April. He said, we joined. Which teacher taught you that English? Which teacher taught you that English? We have just been added. But that's okay for him.
So those who are present continues.
Roland,
it's okay, it's okay, sir.
Look,
no,
14th June 2017.
You see, you are bringing
the IMF said Ghana remains.
You see the intolerance.
Ghana remains.
You see the intolerance.
Putting out intolerance.
You see the intolerance. You were talking and pointing at me, trying to even use your finger to gouge out my eyes.
That's right.
But I did not.
This is 12 June 2015.
Behave.
12 June.
That's okay.
2015.
Put his phone down. Put it down. Yes. Now, I am shocked that a lawyer will sit on a program and say that if a person is mentioned in an audit report, he doesn't need.
Read it.
He doesn't need to be consulted or his views are not important. What happened to?
That's for your submission.
What happened to our law school when we were being taught that the rules of natural justice? It's good that both of us are lawyers.
Oh, but you have his day in court.
No, I'm talking about the audit report. You cannot. That's why I told you that even the Auditor General.
Well, I've asked you a critical question.
The Auditor General.
That the audit report, as far as I'm concerned, you don't need a personality to come in.
I just told you that the Auditor General, who is the biggest accountant in Ghana, even when he does his report, he gives it back to the officers to input or to raise concerns. I told you that. Because of what? Because of the rules of natural justice. He was taught that.
I wasn't.
That's why you are talking this way.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. So, it is wrong for you to indict somebody in a report
and not give him a fair hearing.
Why?
Before you make that report public.
Let me give them an example.
Please do.
This the ship that they sold like tomatoes.
The $19 million ship.
The ship,
The GMPC.
The GMPC ship. Okay. Didn't the committee indict Nana Akufo-Addo? And what was their response? That he was not given an opportunity. When it suits them, they choose and pick. I know how to meet you, people. Now, when you look at Ernest Thompson, he has indicated that, and I will put it out. There's a lawyer he has contacted. He's in Kofrodia. And that lawyer will make the response today, hopefully. And so if you want to know...
Is that what you're getting from your platform?
Yes.
You say you have a platform?
Yes. So he will get in touch with the Ghanaian people by making a statement today against what has been said yesterday. And I think that we should just put our fingers crossed. It doesn't mean that if you have been invited by the police or you have been charged, it means that you did the offense, you committed offense. So that will happen. The lawyer will deal with the matter appropriately.
Okay, so we know that 3 NDC MPs, they were made to report to the CID. They were ex-ministers under the John Mahama-led administration. And, well, we've since had some responses because just about 2 days ago, the majority leader had told Evans Mensah that the minority leader, Haruna Idrisu, had called Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the president of our republic, to beg on behalf of the ex-ministers and the MPs. But we've had the response from their lawyer, so we'll get some snipers of those videos and then we'll come back.
It is, I can tell you, it is not true. Anybody who spews that falsehood, it is not true.
That the minority leader called
that I don't have that instruction, that information. It is not true. I can tell you that anybody who wants to twist the facts can do so. Listen.
It's quite misleading.
It is.
And I mean,
for what I know.
My meeting with the President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa, Wednesday, 11th April 2018, is a matter of public record. Joined the President's National Development Program, the Coordinated Development Program that he launched under the auspices of the Ministry for Planning. And therefore, for the record, there was a privileged side meeting between me and the President. I would continue to protect the sanctity of that conversation and that communication. But let it be noted by the Ghanaian public that I have not begged for any intervention on this matter and considered the guilt of my colleagues as is being reported. The members of the minority...
I have been a member of parliament and was also a minister, and as a member of parliament I was paid a salary, and as a minister I was given some amount of top-up, and I don't interpret it to be double salary. And so I think that's essentially the system will correct itself. And
appropriately, we've had a number of conversations on various forums as well as on various media about, well, what is happening to the former members of parliament and what they had received, etc. But I want to start with you, Mr. Andre Japamesa. You take a look at what the conversation has been. Is it more like perhaps ministers who had served in the previous government are being hounded, or perhaps also it was just an oversight of not trying to reconcile what they were getting as remuneration when they were in office with added responsibility as ministers?
Well, Roland, before I come there, it's important that I correct a falsehood that was put out by Amaliba. Ghana became a high risk, debt distress country in 2015. This is the IMF, okay, Joy Business, reporting on 12 June 2015. And that is a fact. Unless, of course, because he thinks that Ghanaians have short memory, we have all of a sudden forgotten. And that some headline that is put out by, what you call it, Ghana Web, I don't even know the source, business use, becomes what is factual. We've known, as a matter of fact, that Ghana became debt distressed country 3 years ago. It's a fact. You do business news. If you don't know this, put it out to the public. Okay? Look, I am very constrained in making comments on this double salary issue because of the relationships that I have with some of the people who have been mentioned. But it is important to put on record that Honorable Che Mensah Bonsu, the majority leader, did not say that Mr. Haruna Idrusu had begged the president. He did not say that.
Then what did he say?
I listened to the interview on...
We all listened.
Joy,
I think
yes,
I also listened.
In fact, this morning, driving here, Daniel Dazi corrected that impression that the man did not use the word beg.
What did he use?
He said that Mr. Haruna Idrusu had conversations with the president on this matter. Yes. He did not say he had begged the president.
So intervention is not begging?
You can put your interpretations.
No, I'm asking.
Somebody is alleged to have used...
not interpreted. I think it would be
to
unfair
have
for you
used
to say that.
a specific word. And I'm saying that he did not say that Haruna Idrusu had begged the president. And I like Haruna's response that, look, it's a privileged conversation that I had with the president and he wants to keep the sanctity of that in place. But what is out in the public domain, which people like Amaliba, and he's made reference to it, that it amounts to witch hunting, it's diversionary. It's pretty strange. Look, it is entirely possible that the office of the chief of staff, okay, did not recognize the fact that these people were earning salaries from Parliament and they had gone ahead to pay them another salary from the office of the president. It is possible. I don't know. But that is why there's an investigation.
That's why it's not only an investigation, it's a criminal investigation.
Absolutely, yes. So
why should it be a criminal investigation?
I do not make a judgment call on what constitutes crime or not. It is for the CID.
I see.
Okay? So if it is in fact the case, and I'm not in a position to confirm whether it is in fact the case or not, that
if an action is criminal and you're a lawyer, it means there was an intent to...
Absolutely. Okay. And the actus as well, the two must join, okay, for a crime to be occasioned. All right? So if it is in fact the case that salaries were paid from the parliamentary service and additional salaries were paid from the office of the president, issuing instructions to the Comptroller and Accountant General for these persons to be paid a certain amount. Okay, and they actually received these monies in their accounts. Then there is a question that arises for which answers ought to be exacted. Oseche Mensah Bonsu, the majority leader, indicated that in some cases, 2 accounts were given to the two institutions. Some signatures were even doubled. If they are true, it behoves on people to be called to answer. So, if these allegations are true, should we leave them to go because raising an issue would call into question whether you are being diversionary or witch hunting some people? I don't get it. These are public funds. Monies that could be used to improve the well-being of several people within this country.
And we didn't notice it until after 5 quarters of a financial year. Just quite curious.
You see,
reconciliation had not been done of account of payments over the period.
Roland.
Yes, sir.
I will tell you for a fact that I knew about this thing sometime last year. Yes. The Minister of State mentioned it to me in the Chamber of Parliament in a private conversation. The wheels of justice, they say, grind slowly.
So the time is
now.
So
it is, say it again. Time is what?
So the time is now. It's not ripe for...
I guess that the background investigations that they needed to do to satisfy themselves of the need to invite these people to come forward is what has crystallized now. Okay?
To reconcile the account of how many people, 25 people or personalities who were members of parliament serving with additional responsibilities.
Direct that question.
It takes...
direct that question.
When was the last time you heard it last year? And how many months has it taken?
Hold on.
Yes, I'm listening to you.
Hold on. Direct that question appropriately to the investigative authorities. Because I don't have an answer.
You eavesdropped into
I'm saying that, yes, I knew about this matter in a private conversation that I had with the Minister of State.
What time last year? I
can't remember.
Right.
But I knew it before it broke out in the news. And he's been in government. You hear stuff sometimes before it becomes public.
He's not been in government.
Well,
he served as a board member. So he's not been in government.
Whatever.
Okay.
Okay. So, you see, what worries me is the attribution to every issue that borders on investigating people who have served public or served in public offices as witch hunting. So, if they have committed some wrong, should we let them go? If that's what we want, let us say so. Otherwise, I do not have any problem at all. In any event, the due process that is being followed would either exonerate the people whose names have been mentioned.
Why don't you just reconcile the accounts instead of sending it to the CID? The CID is not the Auditor General's department.
I have heard people say, or some, my brother Okudito Ablakwa say that because we are paid on account, okay, at the end of the period when the Committee of Emoluments that the President set up comes out, they then do a reconciliation and pay some amounts either way. But I fail to see how that is possible, that the recipient will have to pay some money back to the state. Because almost always, the salary that is approved at the end by the Emoluments Committee is higher than what you have been receiving on account. So the only situation where it will be possible for you to have to pay back is when a situation arises where double salary is actually being paid. But it will require an investigation to ascertain that. And if the investigation is being conducted, people say no, it's witch hunting.
I don't think it will require it will require a reconciliation of accounts. All right.
No, that's your understanding?
No, I read it somewhere, so let's go. So I only have 4 minutes, unfortunately. I give him lots of time, but don't worry about that.
Okay, let me tackle the issues.
Yes,
quickly.
just in 4 minutes.
Quickly. First, why did the police invite 20-something MPs?
What's wrong with that? There were members of parliament in the last parliament with additional responsibility.
You gave me 4 minutes and you are doing this to me?
All right, sir.
Why would the police invite 20-something MPs and former appointees only to come back and write back to them that, look, you are now involved?
What's wrong with that?
Everything is wrong with that, because what what has happened to their investigative powers.
To them. They didn't write. They said they called them. Your colleagues said they called them.
It's okay. I wasn't a mumu.
Is that not what they said?
It's okay. Please, he has only 4 minutes. Let him go.
I wasn't a mumu on this program when you were talking.
Okay,
and you were not speaking better English than me.
It's okay.
You were ranting and I just kept quiet.
Okay.
Now, what happens to investigation, thorough investigation, before going out to put out information? You have damaged the reputation of these people. You must do thorough investigation. A police service worth its salt, a police service whose members have gone to training school of the police, must ensure that they do proper investigation before they put names of people out which is connected to criminal acts. What have you done? That's one. That's where the witch hunting is. 2, as we speak, there are members of the MPP government who are ministers and at the same time MPs and are enjoying the same top-up. What has happened to them? Another case of witch hunting. There are MPs who are living in government bungalows because they are ministers.
You have evidence to that effect?
Yes.
Current ministers?
Yes. And they have enjoyed or are enjoying rent allowance.
From both sides?
How about that? Look, we have created a monster of a system that is being used by your opposition to witch hunt you. Why? What is this nonsense about MPs, ministers will pay on account? Then at the end of the 4 year, you calculate and divide and do what? And do arithmetic.
Do the deductions, yeah.
When you were employed here, you knew your salary. Why should you come and work and then only wait when you are 4 years before we start tabulating? So because we've done that, we are having this. Garbage in, garbage out. But I'm saying that in this whole hullabaloo, there are people who are enjoying it now. There's a member of their parliament, MP, of the MPP side, who told me that he doesn't know why his people are going on this suicide mission. Because they are also enjoying it.
But not the salaries.
I'm saying that they
because
are
I've also asked what they
double pay. What they have done
is that you choose either you receive or you receive.
No. There's a top-up. There's a top-up.
Yes, there's a top-up. But you choose where you have to receive, whether you receive from the presidential side or from the legislature.
And
that's what it is.
Hear all those who have gone there, it's a top-up.
Yeah, it's more than what an MP should receive.
It's a top-up, yes. To them, that's a top-up.
Well, that's true.
Now you're not a lawyer, but you ask a relevant question. Was there an intention from these ministers to steal money? Was there an intention? If you cannot connect that, the ministers who, the former ministers who are now being investigated, intended to steal the money, you are on a wild goose chase, police. CID boss.
My time is up.
You are on a wild goose chase.
Point made.
So I think that this government, ordinary guidance are seeing through. Because as it is now, you are enjoying similar facilities. Why are you not hauling your own people?
Not the salaries. They are not enjoying same salary. They are enjoying more. The MPs who are serving as ministers, they are getting more than what an MP should get.
And that's the same thing that these people are also.
But the difference, as I asked, was that you choose whether to receive it from the legislature or from the executive.
You are muddying the water. I'm saying that this is a top-up.
Yeah.
Top-up.
Yeah, it's true.
So the top-up.
I get your point.
The top-up is what they are now charging our people for.
It's not a top-up.
And now these people, too,
it is not.
They are also having top-up, but who is questioning them? In any case, some of them are in government bungalow and they are collecting rent. How about that one? Or if you steal a chicken, it's a crime. But when you steal a goat, it's not a crime.
People's names are put on the list.
Hey,
you see the intolerance?
Abraham Maleba. Abraham Maleba is a member of the NDC, but also a legal practitioner. He's ready to go for court. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. Let me wrap up. Can I wrap up? Can I wrap up? You've seen the list.
I've seen the list.
Okay, that's okay.
It was published in the Finder or something yesterday. And they have denied it.
Relax.
There are 46 of them who live in their own homes.
Please. Let me wrap up. Can I wrap up?
Very intolerant people.
Can I wrap up?
Oh, you can do it.
Okay.
I want you to.
Abraham Maleba is a legal practitioner. He's ready for the court. You can see. Good morning to you.
Morning.
It's been great conversation. The two of you, I know you'll be chatting after here. Don't worry about it.
He's a very good friend of mine, but you know.
Good friends. So, and Andrew Ejapame is a member of parliament for Second D, also a legal practitioner. We've had some great time.